Alright guys, TacticalRab again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Cheating in Call of Duty is always a big discussion, but yesterday a massive drama in the esports world emerged that has called things into question yet again. Lots of reaction from Scump and from others around the scene as to whether we need to go back to console ASAP to prevent this stuff, or whether the online qualifiers from now until the end of the season are going to be completely tarnished by some serious cheating related issues. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. As always, I greatly appreciate these shots from Drazah, by the way. Absolutely ridiculous. Gotta mention though, these are the respective cup champions from around the world. Weeman's team with Vortex, Mythics and Hixie, they take the victory in the EU Cup number 5. So just a good time to keep a note of this, because either players from this team or certainly players from this team in the Americas, in North America, will be getting a chance after the major. There are some terrible teams in the league at the moment. There are a few teams that certainly need upgrades in certain roles, and usually I would say, and this has been the case for some time really in Call of Duty, that you want to be an SMG if you want to get picked up. That's kind of been the case. The main AR players are kind of stable, usually, generally speaking, that's been the case. But I think nowadays that's slightly less so the case. There's a few ARs in this game right now that are vulnerable. There's actually quite a few good SMGs that are coming in. Like, look, Purge is running a sub now and he's absolutely frying on Vegas. So just being an SMG doesn't necessarily give you a free pass into the league. Now, like, if you're JurNii Thieves, I'm sure that he's looking at Afro and he's thinking, yeah, you know what, Thieves kind of might well put me back into that team for Afro. If Thieves get, slammed by FaZe and slammed by Gorillas, for example, out of the major, which would be an absolute travesty for them. But there are some other options from the AR side. We know that there's teams like even Boston, where I think Priesthah's role over time might be called into question. Of course, Cammy's been frying on their challenger team. Certainly the Minnesota Rocker with Awakening, he's not been particularly impressive. You've got to consider options there. There's also plenty of other teams where that flex role could be called into question, especially among the worst teams. Ravens are going to need some sort of AR transition, whether it's for Clay, for Fellow, or both of those guys, I don't know. I don't see it happening just because Brian Saint's the coach. I don't see them ever dropping Clay, but you know what I mean. There's plenty of teams that need some AR firepower, and this is why there's been lots of talk about the likes of Dylan, Rex, and others about potential options. So they won the cup yesterday as well, so just some names to keep your eyes on. We've got to talk about this whole cheating drama. This is one of the more remarkable things that I think I've really seen in the esports landscape, and just the fact that this happens makes me concerns about what could happen elsewhere as well. Now, this is online. This is the ALGS or whatever. So the Apex Legends Global Series, I don't know, regional finals, something like that. And we get the various teams playing in it. Yesterday, we have Imperial, HAL, we have plenty of others grinding out their Apex tournaments. Now, in a pretty crazy turn of events, HAL is playing in this competitive match right here, and all of a sudden, he has aimbots. Like, if he aims down sight and he tries to shoot at somebody, it just snaps the target and he kills them for free. And he was like, I'm cheating, what's going on? Why is my game doing this? And obviously, every player that was affected by this had to kind of raise the question as to, well, I've just got to either leave the game or screw it, right? Like, let me just embrace the hacks that I've been gifted by the gods and just abuse them for advantage. I think the players immediately knew when this happened, well, okay, this isn't really tenable. The game is going to get cancelled, forfeited, postponed, whatever the case is. But what happened, if you guys aren't familiar with this story, is that plenty of Apex Legends players, such as, this is probably the worst game actually, where this poor guy here just finds himself wall hacks on the screen. And he could just see all the enemies through the... You guys can actually see it very clearly if I just go full screen. He doesn't know what's going on. He's like, what am I doing right now? He can see it's Timmy. He can see like everyone through all the walls, you guys can tell. And it's just straight up wall hack has happened on his computer. And I'm sure he was concerned, like, oh my god, am I getting exposed here somehow? Like, because, okay, these guys know they haven't got the hacks on, but it's obviously not a great look, is it, when this is happening? And then he has to quit the lobby, right? Because, I mean, what's he meant to do at this point? So what actually happened here is that hackers were logging onto the game, finding the account, I guess, of the player in question, and were effectively giving them hacks. So I guess they were hacking the account of the player, and then they were installing hacks for those guys, or running hacks through their computer so that this was happening. So they were kind of like controlling the account of the player and then giving them cheats during the game. So I'll share the reaction here from Scump and from Zini, because this is wild. I don't really think I've ever seen anything quite like this.
They are giving aimbot mid-game. The hacker gave him the ability to see everyone else on the map.
Oh wait, play this with some sound. Can we hear this?
I didn't leave the game, right? Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. It's like, what
Bro.
the I'm getting
Oh,
hacked.
it's not on LAN. It's online. Bro,
I'm
what
getting
the
hacked.
fuck?
I know, but can you play? Can you play?
Yeah, but it's cheating. The fuck?
I know, sure. I know. What?
Like,
Dude, what is going on? How is that
is
even
that
possible?
See everyone, like,
He just gave him
I didn't leave
cheats?
the game, right? Yeah, I'm leaving. It's like, what the f-
Oh, I'd be going nuts. What do you even fucking do?
DZ had walls, TSM had aimbot. What the hell?
Come in. Okay.
Can we shoot height?
Yeah, shoot now.
I'm cheating. I'm not fucking shooting aimbot.
Oh no. You gotta leave the game, bro.
So of course we typically talk about cheating in the sense of, well, is this player in challenges hacking? You know, yes, they're absolutely frying in challenges. They're trying to get into the pro league. Are they dodgy? Are they fully legit? And of course, we know that pro players many a time will have a look at instances and they'll say, well, is this guy legit? Is he not? Kind of difficult to say. Whereas now we've got to deal with the problems that actually people that aren't cheating are getting affected by this stuff to effectively just ruin the game. And this is the main point about this, right? It's not necessarily so much about the fact that they have hacks in this particular instance. It's more about the fact that this instance has completely ruined the competitive integrity and completely broken the game. Like, the ALGS finals, as a result of this, had to be postponed. That's what they came up with afterwards, actually. Let me find the tweet right about here. They say, due to the competitive integrity of this series being compromised, we have made the decision to postpone the NA finals at this time. We will share more information soon. So it seems like there is a way in Apex and potentially in other games, this is the concern really, at least for the Call of Duty side, to take over the client of a particular player. Maybe there's some sort of vulnerability in the security. Seems like there is. I don't know. To take over the client from the player's perspective, deliver them cheats to effectively just destroy the competitive integrity. Like, let's say they try this again tonight. So, like, okay, let's just run it back again. Because when a player cheats, you can ban them. You can say, all right, Jimbo, you know, you were cheating. You're banned from ever playing ever again. So now we can run a talk without Jimbo, and we can be relatively confident that nobody's cheating, or hopefully that's not the case. If somebody cheats, you ban them, and therefore the competitive integrity is restored. If you can find out that they're cheating, which is a problem in the Call of Duty anti-cheat that doesn't really seem to work. But in this instance, what do? Run it again tonight, and then the hackers come back and they also just ruin the game again? Like, what are you meant to do? If the cheating anti-cheat doesn't work properly to prevent this from happening, I don't really see what the actual good solution is in this case. I don't know when they're going to be able to fix this, because I mean, if it's a problem now, it's going to be a problem in a week's time, more than likely, unless they find a quick workaround, which they will absolutely need to do. It also raises other questions, as Enable says. Today, the hackers that were giving the Apex Legends players cheats were doing pretty obvious cheats. Aimbots, wall hacks, whatever. What if they were just, like, helping the players a little bit? You know what I mean? Like, what if it was just a very slight soft aim that they were giving to their favorite player? And then all of a sudden he's just aiming a bit better and he's like, damn, I'm frying today. But like, he can't even tell from his own POV that he's got the cheats installed, because it's just like a very slight, I don't know, little magnetism to the player. I don't know, man. It's so strange. Slasher says, bring console back. PC is terrible, which I don't disagree with. I think this would be the way to go. And this is the concern, I think, for the Call of Duty side. Look, you go to a LAN event, no problem at all. It's going to be fine. I don't expect any issues on LAN. But theoretically, online, could a hacker get access to one of the players' accounts? It might be difficult to really tell just because they play on like CDL accounts. So I don't know if this is really possible in COD. But it is a bit of a concern because the anti-cheat clearly in Apex Legends doesn't really work. The anti-cheat in COD clearly doesn't really work. So if the same thing was possible and hackers could like get access to a pro player's game, they could effectively just ruin every single online qualifier forever. And what would we even do? Like, they would be unplayable. The online qualifiers would be unplayable if players' accounts were getting hacked and cheats installed mid-series. So I guess, thankfully, we're going back to LAN, and hopefully when we get into the Major 3 qualifiers, this won't be a concern. And maybe it's not possible in COD. But if it's possible at Apex, then I think it's a little bit concerning, right? So yeah, John's looking forward to getting back to LAN, of course. This was the breakdown team of the week as well. They went for Lucky, which I think it was fair to put someone from Miami Miami in there. He had a great couple of series as well. Shotzzy looks like a bit of a mainstay here at the moment. Geo from Vegas, Simp from FaZe. I think these are all good picks, to be fair. Maybe could have put Purge in here, to be honest, right? I think he's been frying, but it is what it is. These, by the way, overall, Major 2 qualifiers top KDs. So Cellium had the top KD again at a 1.24. He was, well, Attach was close to getting that number himself, but Attach at a 1.23 this stage. HyDra and Kiz, they've been the dominant force SMG duo of the stage, to be fair, but Shotzy's right here with a 1.16, and look, if my estimation is correct, this 1.16 from Shotzzy, in terms of when you then factor in for how much impact his KD tends to have, Shotzzy, the most impactful player in the league right now, by some margin, in my opinion. I'm sure we'll discuss this in some depth on Dope Check later on today. Shotzzy as well increased. He had a 0.979 during stage 1. He had a 1.164 during stage 2. Attach and Kismet, the other two players, the only two players to have improved their KD more than that over the course of the stage. But Cellium, by taking that top KD with a 1.24, he actually locks up his KD leader standing for the sixth different stage in CDL history, which is 4 more than the second most. Pretty absurd, right? So yeah, these are all the numbers over time. I think it's also interesting to see what the number is, right? I think the record is still XinNii, isn't it? Yeah, Vanguard stage 2, XinNii had a 1.38, and that is still the record for the highest ever in stage KD. Now, to be fair, nowadays, MW3, it's going to be harder because you play 7 games, not 5. So the bigger the sample size, the harder to maintain those type of numbers. But still, you're looking usually at a 1.2 plus. There's never been anything in the 1.1s. The top performer is always a 1.2 mid somewhere or potentially higher. Cell's record is a 1.33 actually, MW2 stage 1. So pretty absurd. Even Octane last year had one, then he retired. Big Wake last year, 1.26, highest KD in the world during Modern Warfare 2 Stage 5. This year we've not seen a 1.26 almost in a series from Wake, let alone over the course of an entire stage. Cell, though, has had the top KD so far both stages, but they didn't win Major 1. We'll see if they're going to win Major 2. After yesterday's results, they're not necessarily the favourites for that one. So obviously massively looking forward to the event. I thought this was a bit harsh on Clay, really, but it was kind of funny, so I thought I'd just mention it, right, in terms of how Clay performs this weekend, right, because Ravens probably play Miami round 1 if Miami were to lose to OpTic as they're expected to. And Ravens really need to do something because they're bottom of the league standings right now. We looked at that earlier today if you guys didn't see the video. Ravens now 45. They are on the verge of being in a complete nightmare scenario, right? So very much interested to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.
My POV, I think Ant's like Giannis in 2016. He's going to win the most improved player award, then kick it on from there at that level. So I think Ant has been, in my mind, as good as Dill has been. I think Ant's been my favorite player.
Did we just compare a guy with a world championship under his belt to a 2016 Giannis?
You say superstars have never won a most improved player award. Wow. Giannis has. And I'm sure there's other fucking all-stars that have too.
Not while they're a superstar. No, not while they're a superstar. That, like, you...
Giannis is disgusting in 2016. That's how I know you don't know ball, but it's all good. My point is...
damn.
My point is that with